led by donkeys, put the Christmas lights up in Clacton. Wait a minute. They're not the Christmas lights, as was duly noted in the Clacton and Frinton Gazette. The Christmas lights were turned on December 7th. After a day of wholesome entertainment and good cheer, including local music groups and tribute acts, including Luke Hingley, who, if you don't know, covers the songs of Michael Bublé, which themselves, I believe, are covers. So he's a tribute act to a tribute act. It's pure simulacra from Luke Hingley, I tell you. Nothing less than you'd expect from those postmodern leftists of Clacton. But if those were the real Christmas lights, the desert of the real, then what exactly does Led by Donkeys think it's doing? Attacking the local MP, Nigel Farage, at Christmas? For God's sakes. Why? Why would they do it? Because he has a second job? Because he's had a good year financially? The problem Led by Donkeys seem to have with Nigel Farage is that Farage is not a serious politician who genuinely wants to achieve his goal of, I don't know, stopping immigration or lessening it to some degree. Whatever it is, he's not serious about it because he's too busy making money and careering all over the place like an annoying Wind in the Willows character, which is all of them. They're all annoying. And so I guess what Led by Donkeys are saying is that what Clacton needs to do is find someone who is serious about these things and vote for them, presumably. Which is an odd message for Led by Donkeys to be making, particularly at Christmas. But I guess, and it's perhaps on a Rachel Reeves unconscious subconscious violence level, Led by Donkeys' reasoning is this. They don't like Nigel Farage because of his politics, right? But they realise that the people of Clacton clearly do like that because they voted for him. So instead of attacking him on that, they attack him on his second job, which is something that Led by Donkeys don't really care about, but assume the people of Clacton will. I guess because, what? Because people in Clacton are poor? Now, unfortunately, Led by Donkeys aren't here to defend themselves today. But I guess if they were here, what they'd say is that they do, in fact, really hate the fact that Farage is making all this money while being an MP. But as I say, I really don't think they do. I mean, just imagine for a second, right? Just imagine, for example, if you liked Keir Starmer. Now, I know it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable place to put your mind. But just try and hold it for a second. It's like, imagine it's like a role play. Yeah, have you not tried Keir Starmer's sex role plays? They're quite liberating. I can tell you. You can really disappoint someone. That really, really unfulfill those promises. And it's all in character. It's all part of the erotic riff. But I digress. Imagine if you liked Keir Starmer and someone said, hey, this guy that you really like, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, this guy, he's getting a lot of freebies, more freebies than every Labour leader combined since 1997. Yeah, and he's only been leader for what, like 5 years? Less than that? And if you like Keir Starmer, what would your reaction be? It would be something like, no, it's not bad. It's not really bad. It's nothing. It's silly. Don't be stupid. It's, what, would you want the Tories back in or something? Stop being annoying. I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, politicians, it's just part of it, it's part of the job. You get things. That's how it is. And second jobs, is that part of, I guess David Lammy had a second job, but the Tories are worse. Look at their second jobs. They make more money. Right. Okay. So they're better at having second jobs. But, that's what it's like, isn't it? You criticize a politician on something that's not their politics, exactly. It's to do with their personal character. Although I would say, in the case of Starmer, it is his politics, because his politics is his personal character. They're the same thing. But that isn't the case with the Farage, so it works even worse with Farage, because he actually, God knows how serious he is actually about it, but he does have an actual political position that people, at least who are voting for him, are serious about, where the people who are voting for Starmer are only serious about Starmer's personality being good. But even them, they can't be swayed when you show them that he's actually a piece of shit. The other thing about Farage, right, singling out Farage, vilifying him. The other thing is, it's the classic, if you strike him down, then he will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Have you never seen Star Wars? It's basic. It's basic stuff. Because Farage's appeal, right, is as this sort of special, charismatic figure who is single-handedly moving the wheels of history. Yeah, he's shaping the political agenda with his amazing, presence or something. He's standing up to the Europhilic, pedophilic, globalist, trans, pretified elite. And so if you happen to be invested in that, whatever I listed before, elite, be it as a Tory or Labour, and then you attack Farage as a kind of uniquely sinister force operating outside of that, then you're actually just doing his job for him, right? That's what energizes his base. Just like with Trump, it's the constant vilifying, unhinged attacks on this man. Like this man is the problem. Because you say this man is the problem, they're like, well, this man is the solution. Because what you see as the solution is what they see as the problem. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? The irony, though, is, of course, that in reality, Farage is not in control of anything. He's simply riding the waves of popular anger like a SpongeBob keyring on a bed of 2p coins, slowly being pushed to the fore by forces he cannot understand, which are more 2p shooting up into the sky and then going through like a kind of pinball, whatever those rubbery like bing 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 things, and then like falling. And you've got to time it just right so that it basically you want to fire it when the moving tray is at its most inward, and then by the time the coin goes down, it'll just be coming back and it'll collect it beautifully at the back and it will push more coins down. And you will get that SpongeBob keyring. And Farage will be Prime Minister. Just keep going. It might look impossible. It might look like the two P's that are stacked really high together are glued together. They're not. Honestly, play it long enough, they will come down. Of course, by the time you get them, you'll have put in as many 2Ps as you will win, and nothing really changes. But in that moment, and that's really what we're looking for, isn't it? It's that moment when Nigel Farage becomes Prime Minister and it's like, God help us. But then actually, no, it's fine. Nothing really changes. So the other thing, of course, about Farage and the people of Clacton is that Farage has put Clacton on the map, which is, again, really what it's all about. I mean, we all want to be seen, don't we? As a community, as an identity. And if you identify very much with where you're from, where you live, then you want that thing, Britain or Clacton or whatever the fuck you give a shit about. That's what you want to be like seen, represented. And sure, Farage may never physically be, may have never been to Clacton as far as, I don't know. Maybe it's all holograms, a bit like Zelensky, Is he really where he says he is? But the important thing is not that he, no, I don't think the people of Clacton are worried that Nigel Farage isn't doing enough MP surgeries. But they may well watch a lot of GB News, and Farage is often on there, and they may even watch BBC News, who knows. And Farage is often on Question Time and stuff like that. So Farage is, he's in the world that people inhabit, which is online, on the TV. So, again, you're missing, like, you think, oh, well, here we can criticize them. Like, where is your MP? Do you give a shit? It's like Nigel Farage is never in Clacton, right? Okay, is my MP ever? I don't fucking keep tabs on my MP, because you don't care either. That's the thing. You're attacking Farage on things that you don't care about, because you can't face the actual political differences that he represents because you don't have an alternative. That's the thing. Like, what is Labour's position? It's basically the same. Because the muddle that led by donkeys have got themselves into is a result of Labour's confusing pitch to the people of Clacton, and everyone else for that matter, that they will deliver on the immigration targets that the Conservatives failed to. So they just want to do, they basically have the same critique of the Conservative Party as Farage, which is that they failed on immigration. The difference, I guess, is that Labour are also trying to placate people like, I guess, me, and led by donkeys, I suppose, by promising to do all of the immigration stuff that the Tories failed to, but without as much divisive rhetoric as the Tories spout. So they're going to reluctantly, unenthusiastically, but first and foremost, actually bring down immigration. Whereas the Tories will, enthusiastically talk about it, but not actually bring it down. And I guess that's one of the sort of ironies where you have the Tories might talk the talk, but Labour are going to walk the walk. So that's your choice. You can either have people that, you like what they say, but not what they do, or vice versa. Unless, of course, Labour doesn't do this, and that's going to be really bad for Labour, right? Because then they're neither talking the talk or walking the walk. Now, as I say, what would be really good at this point would be to have an alternative politics that challenges this view, and that, that we are all just dispossessed people, either here or abroad, or coming from abroad to here, and we're all just competing, more and more frantically and violently for ever shrinking opportunities and services, and that's all we can ever have. And so we have to be pitted against each other constantly. If we had a sort of alternative narrative to that, that would be something that you could maybe sway the people of Clacton to vote for. I think. You might think that no, they're just impossible racists, all of them, even the ones that didn't vote. I mean, why did a lot of people in Clacton didn't vote? You realise that, right? They're not happy with Farage. He's not racist enough. He's not anti-immigrant enough. They're waiting for someone else. Is that what it is? Of course, the problem with the alternative politics that I would be interested in is that, as I'm sure you're well aware, it would have to be, unfortunately, anti-Semitic, because that's what we've learned, isn't it, over the last 10 years or so. Left-wing politics, you could call it that, or you could just call it sort of 1970s centrist politics, whatever you want to call it. It's rooted in anti-Semitism, which is a shame, isn't it? It's a crying shame, but that's how it is. So, let's get to kicking those immigrants out. Come on, Starmer, get on with it. Because the only way you can stop the rise of Farage and his supporters is, of course, by appeasing them and doing all the things that Farage wants to do. And then it's, you might as well have Farage as the Prime Minister. At least he'd enjoy it. But no, I'm being silly. I'm joking around. Led by Donkeys didn't make the video to try and sway the people of Clacton to think anything at all. They did it to put it on Twitter, obviously, so that people miles and miles away in massive Labour majorities could see it and applaud and give it a like. And as you may well know, Twitter, or X, is actually one of the sources of Farage's income that they're complaining about. So it all works out in the end.